If you knew something that could stop a wedding, something real, something that would devastate the groom, would you say it? Or would you smile, hold your flowers, and walk down that aisle pretending you didn't know what you know? Because I had about 45 minutes to decide, and I chose to say it. And now half my family won't speak to me. Okay, so let me give you the people involved because this matters. My older sister is Renata. She's 34, she's brilliant, she's funny, and she has spent the last decade being the family golden child, which, honestly, fine. I made my peace with that a long time ago. The groom is Marcus. He's been with Renata for 4 years, and I actually really like Marcus. That's the whole problem. I genuinely like the guy. He's kind, he's patient. He adores her in this quiet, steady way that you don't see very often. My parents love him. I love him. The whole family is thrilled. The wedding has been planned for 8 months, venue, caterer, the works, and I am the maid of honor, me, her little sister. Which felt like a big deal when she asked. I cried, she cried. It was a whole moment, so I'm in this? Deep. Then, about 6 weeks before the wedding, I find something out. Not because I was snooping. Not because I went looking for it. My best friend from college, who has no connection to my family, lives in a completely different city, sends me a photo. A screenshot, actually. She'd seen it on someone else's feed and recognized Renata from the engagement announcement I'd posted. It was a dating profile. Active, updated 3 days prior. My sister's face. A slightly different name. A bio that described her as looking for something real. I sat with that for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of watching Marcus help address wedding invitations, of watching him tear up at the rehearsal dinner toast, of watching my parents fawn over centerpiece options while I held this thing in my chest like a stone. I told myself, maybe it's old, maybe it's some weird glitch, maybe there's an explanation I can't see. I almost talked myself into nothing. The morning of the wedding, I'm in the bridal suite helping Renata with her veil, and her phone keeps buzzing face down on the vanity. Which phones buzz, whatever. But then she excuses herself to check on the florist, and I'm alone in the room for a few minutes and her phone lights up again, and I see the notification preview before I even mean to. It's not from a florist. It's a name I don't recognize. And the preview text says, "Wish I could be there today." I didn't touch her phone. I want to be clear about that. I just stood there and something in me went cold and certain all at once. I found Marcus in the groomsmen's room down the hall. His best man let me in, gave me a look, stepped out. And Marcus is standing there in his suit, already a little emotional, and he goes, "Hey, is everything okay?" And I said it. I told him about the profile. I told him what I saw on the phone. I said I don't know what it means and I could be completely wrong, but I would want to know. I would need to know. He didn't say anything for a long time. He just sat down on the edge of a chair and looked at the floor. Then he said, "How long have you known?" And I told him 6 weeks. He nodded slowly, like that answer was its own kind of answer. He asked me to leave the room. I went back to the bridal suite. Renata took one look at my face and said, "What did you do?" I told her. She went completely still, not angry still. Then she said very quietly, "You have no idea what you just did." The wedding didn't happen, Marcus called it. He came and found Renata. They had a conversation behind a closed door for 20 minutes and then he walked out of the building. My mother didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My dad pulled me aside and said, "There was a way to handle this, and that wasn't it." My aunt told me I had destroyed something beautiful over a suspicion. Renata hasn't called me once. Here's where I have to be honest with myself, because yes, I know what I did. I went to the groom, not to my sister, not to my parents. I went directly to Marcus, 45 minutes before the ceremony, and I handed him a grenade with no way to know if the pin was even pulled. And I did it without confronting Renata first, without giving her a single chance to explain, without actually knowing what that phone message meant or whether the profile was what I thought it was. My dad is right that there were other ways. I could have pulled Renata aside myself. I could have waited. I could have said nothing and lived with it and let whatever was going to happen on its own timeline, not mine. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. Marcus is a good person. He was about to make a forever decision. And I sat on this for 6 weeks already, 6 weeks of trying to convince myself it wasn't my business. And the longer I held it, the more it felt like I was helping her deceive him. That's what it felt like. Not staying out of it, participating in it. So yes, I said something, I blew up the wedding. I blew up my relationship with my sister, with my mother, with half my extended family who got dressed up and drove 2 hours and watched the whole thing fall apart from the pews. And Marcus, the person I actually told, texted me 2 weeks later, just 3 words. "Thank you, genuinely." Which somehow makes it both better and worse at the same time, because Renata saw that text. I don't know how, but she did. And that was the last thing that happened before she blocked my number. It's been about 2 months now. Marcus and Renata are apparently in some kind of counseling together, which I genuinely did not expect. My mom told me that almost like she was daring me to feel bad about it. My dad has started returning my calls, but we don't talk about any of it. And Renata, nothing. Just silence. Complete, total silence. And I go back and forth every single day. Because maybe she deserved the chance to explain herself first. Maybe I took something from her, her choice, her moment, her shot at working through whatever was happening on her own terms. Or maybe I did the one thing a real person does when they know something that matters. They say it, even when it costs them. Even when it costs them a lot. I don't have a clean answer. I don't think I get one. So I'll just ask you, if it were your sister, your best friend, the person you've known your whole life, and you had 45 minutes and a stone in your chest and a text that said, "Wish I could be there today," what would you have done? Am I the problem here? Honestly, though, what would you have done? Comment below.